the real takeaway from this is try your systems at home. If you buy a car, put all your might into that brake pedal because it should be able to handle it. And if it can't, that's when you want to know. Take a rolling panic stop. Make sure that everything is working in a controlled environment before you go on the long trip. Put all your weight into the brakes because they should be able to take it. Doing highway speeds, I was braking, I was driving. I was not even concerned for my safety, and I should have been with brake lines like that. Welcome back out to the shop. My name is Mark, and this is the Malarkey Taylor channel. Today, we are working on my wife's 2008 GL320 CDI. And the reason that we're working on it is because it did something weird. No, the reason I'm recording it is because I did something weird. The reason I'm working on it is because it did something that is totally predictable in old cars. It had a breakdown. The thing that was different and weird about this is I had just gotten home from about a 6.5 hour drive, 5.5, 6 hour drive. I'm saying it wrong. Pulled into the driveway, backed up to the garage, pushed the brake pedal and messed around a little bit and pushed the brake pedal and it popped and went to the floor. No brakes, lost all braking power at the end of a very long drive, and that totally freaked me out. So threw it in park, got it done, got it back here using the parking brake, got it into the shop, put it up on jack stands to see what we were dealing with, and the results are kind of something I've never seen before. I've seen brake lines pop, usually rusty ones, sometimes some rubber ones when they get cut, but I've never seen both of the front brake lines pop at the exact same time. Right here on that arm, right there on there, you can see it started to get a little bit worn. Just completely, oh, if I could get this light to behave here. It just completely popped. Had no signs of it leaking before that. It just went. But I noticed on the other side there was also brake fluid on the ground over here. And again, same thing. Same spot where it connects to the arm. It just popped. What a bizarre thing. I've never had both pop at the same time. I think once I had one side pop, replaced it, fixed it, and during the bleeding process on the other one I had, during the bleeding process where I was getting the air out of the system, I had another line break. But I have never had both of them pop at the exact same spot at the exact same time. So just so weird. That's just so weird. So what we're going to do today, and it's actually not going to be today, it's going to be over the course of the next couple of days, is we are going to do a brake job on this Mercedes, which is nothing special. But that's the part I wanted to share with you, which is the craziness. Like, those lines are, I don't know when they were replaced last. I don't even know. I've had this for 77,000 miles, something like that. And I haven't replaced them. So it's possible that they're original. The car itself has 216,000 miles on it. So it could be that that's the interval. You need to replace them, but definitely check them. And the real takeaway from this is when you're not driving, before a long trip, try your systems at home. I'm very glad and blessed that I made it home into my parking spot before they popped. But I was on I-95, I was on the turnpike in Pennsylvania, I was doing highway speeds, I was braking, I was driving. I was not even concerned for my safety, and I should have been with brake lines like that. So if you buy a car, put all your might into that brake pedal because it should be able to handle it. And if it can't, that's when you want to know. If you're about ready to go on a long trip, take a rolling panic stop. Make sure that everything is working in a controlled environment before you go on the long trip. Put all your weight into the brakes because they should be able to take it. And if they can't, they're going to tell you, and you want them to tell you before you need them. So I'm gonna get to it. This morning I'm gonna pinch off the 2 front brake lines and put pressure to it and see if I popped any of the back ones. I'm gonna jack the back up and check those brake lines. I've already got a full brake kit coming for it. Front and rear pads and rotors, new front lines for the front, but I wanna check the back to see if the back has any similar cuts or tears in the lines, and then I have to wait for all the parts to arrive. So here we go. Right, Moose? Yep, good boy. Okay, so because both front brake lines are shot anyway, I'm gonna take some pliers and I'm gonna put them on the lines and try to pinch them off so that they'll hold a little bit of pressure. Come on. There we go. That way, maybe, just maybe, I can put a little bit of pressure to the back. And, oh, here we go. I need 2 hands on this. There we go. So now, maybe with that, we can put a little bit of brake fluid in the reservoir and see if we can get pressure to go to the back and see if we have any issues in the back as well. I'm also going to take off the back tires and visually inspect them, but this is just mainly a way for me to check to see if there's anything obvious that I can't see. Here we go. No funnels allowed. It's all going to come back out again when we take those lines off, but that's okay. Never hurts to change and clean your brake fluid because reasons and such and whatnot. Are we squirting out anywhere? Did you see it? Did you look? Did it blow fluid anywhere? Okay, good. All right, so that's good. That means that it does feel like there's a little bit of a pedal there now. So that means that there is putting some pressure to the back. So I'm going to jack up the back and visually inspect them all for cracks. Oh, you've been sitting over there listening to me, huh? You know, I was watching Vice Grip Garage the other day, and he was in Texas reviving an old Bel Air, and he said, boy, it's hotter than Faith Hill in the 90s. I'm feeling that today. He's not wrong, Faith Hill was hot in the 90s, but I'm just saying it's hot outside. All right, so that fan's loud. We got no signs of cracking or abrasion here. These are in pretty good shape. I am not having an issue here. I think maybe we'll keep running them. I don't know what it was about that front there. It doesn't like it, but okay. All right, welcome back. It's been a couple days. Parts have arrived. Let's get these boxes opened and see what's inside. Went ahead and ordered new brakes, rotors, pads, calipers. Wait, no, I didn't do calipers. Calipers seem like they're fine. I thought I was going to need to do calipers, but I didn't. Two-piece. Doesn't say front or rear on the outside of it. Let's see. Yeah. Don't come out my feet. Okay. We'll figure that out in a minute. In that box. I might have been able to get these cheaper locally, or I might have been able to spend more locally, but my work schedule has not been friendly to me going out and finding stores and buying things. Okay. Brake lines Those are the rubber hoses that we popped, and then pad wear sensors. That should be good. I don't even know if the pad wear monitoring system in here works anymore. We've got 3 things of brake fluid. Quiet cast disc brake kit. I believe this is front. Kind of looks like rear, but put that there. That's all that's in that box. Another disc brake. Rotor. That's 1. Oh, those are heavy. That's 2. And that's all that's in that box. Okay. I might not have needed the rotors, but I just bought a kit so that I don't have to do this again. Oh yeah. Those are the fronts. Yeah, it looks about right. Yep, it looks about right. All right. Well, next step is start putting them on. I think I'm going to start in the front and replace as much as I can. I'll throw you guys on time lapse and see how far we get. Pretty common mistake that I make still occasionally if I'm not thinking. These guys right here, to remove the calipers or the rotors on these, there's a little set in there. Don't try to remove it by force. Don't put like an impact and a Torx bit on there and try to wrestle it out. It's a tiny little T30 Torx. If you try to remove it by force, it will break your Torx. You have to use heat. If you don't use heat, you will break your torque. If you do use heat, you might still break your Torx, but we'll find out. %50 of the time works every time. But I have a pile of broken T30 bolts, T30 wrenches from not using heat. So, pro tip. I'm sorry, amateur tip. Amateur, not a pro. Anyway, back to the time lapse. We're gonna get the rest of these off of here and start putting the new lines in. We got it sort of started most of the way on this side, and I got to put the screw back in there, and I need to put some Loctite on the bolts. I was gonna make this a how-to video, but then I realized you probably shouldn't do this yourself. Maybe you should, but maybe you shouldn't. I don't know. So brakes are a pretty important thing. Maybe take it to your mechanic if you're not sure how to do them, but this is how I'm doing them, so I guess I'll just show you that. Anyway, I got that all back together. One thing of note, and I'll bring you in probably on the other side, but do this part before you replace the line, because these zip ties have to go back on there, and it's easier to maneuver the caliper when it's not connected to the hose. Anyway, here we go. Let's do this. That's not going anywhere. going to be it for me for today. I have to work tonight, so that is as far as I can go. Go join your friends, buddy. That's as far as I can go today, and I got to get back at it again later. So we'll get back to it tomorrow or the next day or the next day, and I'll bring you in when I do. But we're a quarter of the way there. Welcome back out to the shop. It is at least 2 weeks later. Zero progress on this thing. And that's a good point for anybody who wants to do it yourself. If you need to walk away from a project and come back to it 2 weeks later, you need to be able to do that. But you also have to remember to come back. Thankfully we have other cars and we are making do, but we do need to get this back on the road. It is blisteringly hot. I am overheated, so I have to turn fans and air conditioning on in this shop, and that makes it difficult for me to talk to the camera, and you don't really want to hear me talk about the rest of this anyway. So I am going to set up a time lapse. I'm going to go, and if there's anything that comes up that is really interesting or I think is really interesting to you, I will bring you in for that. But my goal here is to get this thing back on its wheels because it's been sitting in my shop for too long. So here we go. Well, I got pretty close tonight. All the brake hardware that I have is mounted to the unit, but we are giving up for tonight because I did a little bit closer inspection of the rear brake lines. I don't like them. They're not cracked, they're not broken, there's no signs of damage, but they are the same age as the front ones, and they just seemed a little stiffer than I'd like. So rather than come back and do this another time, I just put an order in for 2 new brake lines for the rear, and we'll replace the rubber lines, and that way we only have to bleed it out once. So that's going to be here Wednesday or Friday, I don't know, but I just will feel better getting that done. So I'm going to call it for tonight, go inside and watch YouTube with the boys, and then we will be back at it later this week. I should have caught that earlier. I went and looked at them and I thought, oh, they should be good, but when I got in there and I started replacing everything, I started to see there's just a couple things about it that are a little stiff in some places, so don't want to mess with it, don't want to take the risk, gonna go ahead and replace them. So, see you again in a minute. Hopefully it won't be 2 more weeks, but we'll see. At least now I could put the wheels back on and roll it out if I had to, but we'll get there. I'll see you in a minute.
Yeah.
I think this is the last piece to our puzzle. I added some bonus items on here. We're due for an oil change, so we're gonna knock that out while we're at it. So this box should have oil change info and our rear brake lines. Liqui moly. Good. So, yeah. Let's get to it. Well, that's one side done. Time to move to the other side. Over here. We're almost done. We're almost done. Here we go.
So these are the lines that burst, and obviously you can see the one from the front had pretty much torn all the way through. This other one from the front, yeah, pretty much the same. The rear ones, you see this curve here? It kind of seems like it's a little bit stiff, and I just didn't want to take chances with it. With what was going on with the front, I felt like maybe even if it wasn't breaking down on the outside, it might be breaking down on the inside. So I went ahead and replaced them all. We got the new ones in. Now it's time to bleed the brakes, figure out how to do that on this system. It might have a funky, fancy way of doing it through the computer. I'll do a little bit of Googling and see if there's an app for that on my scan tool. Otherwise, we're going to try it the old-fashioned method and see how it does, and go from there. So, got the brakes all in, but before we start bleeding the brakes, I have something that's bothering me. These guys, yeah, no bueno, no bueno, no good. So, I'm going to throw those guys on some paint, get the oil draining, and go from there. Footers. Got my helpers out here. Harlan helped me bleed the brakes. We can reenact that. Pump it. Pumping. Hold. Okay, release. Okay, we did that. So, got all the brakes bled. They seem to be holding air pretty well. Now we've got to finish the oil change, put the tires on. Oh, and these started to, they're looking okay. They're 20 footers, so we're gonna let those dry a little bit longer, finish the oil change, and then put the wheels back on. When I jacked it up, I dumped the bags. When I dumped the bags, they don't hold air anymore. So when I put it back down, getting it off the jacks was a little bit tricky. But here we go. I'm going to start it up for the first time and see if the brakes hold. Well, that's it. Finally, that's it. I don't know how many weeks it's been. 3, 4 months, a year and a half. I don't know. I'll tell you what, it was longer than I wanted it to be. But seems like the brakes are working. The air suspension went back to where it's supposed to be. I'll take it for a test drive tomorrow, but that's it for now. Thank you so much for stopping out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, the Mercedes Brakes, and it'll be soon.